into it. So we are a Queensland-based, Queensland-focused gold, copper and base metal explorer. We've got a significant resource base in the Ravenswood Consolidated region predominantly, which is our home base is up in Townsville in North Queensland, and the significance of that is that we've got an opportunity to be on ground on those projects within an hour and a half from our office. We've got a fantastic technical team based in Townsville, headed up by Matt Price, who's out at the booth, our exploration manager. We've been highly active to date, so we've drilled over 40 kilometres ourselves. We've inherited 6 kilometres worth of diamond drilling from previous owners on a project that we've worked our way through, and we've just completed another 3,000 metres of RC and a diamond hole that will be finished by this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We're targeting big systems in advanced, underexplored terrains, but well-endowed terrains. And we have made a transformational transaction this year, and it really rolls in a serious project into the Ravenswood Consolidated area. We are going to talk predominantly about Ravenswood Consolidated today, given the reduced time slot. We'll work through. So we've got a share price at the moment of about 1.1 cents. That gives us a market cap of just over 13 million. So like everyone that's spoken before me, we'd all argue we're a very cheap option at the moment. Directors have tipped in a significant amount of their own cash into this into the company, showing their belief in what we're doing. This is the leadership team. So myself, Alec Pismiris, Anthony Torreson, Paul Chapman and Les Davis. Paul and Les would be familiar through a range of different entities, a couple of which are in the auditorium today. The Ravenswood Consolidated project. So this is the flagship project for Sunshine. We're in the Charters Towers Ravenswood district, a district that's produced over 20 million ounces of gold and 14 million tonnes worth of VMS material. So that is comprised of copper, zinc, gold and lead. Townsville's a fantastic place to do business as a mining company. It's well supported, a quality mining workforce. We've got a concentrate export port. There is a zinc refinery in Townsville, a copper refinery in Townsville, and significantly the Queensland Government have just tipped in $75 million to a critical minerals common user facility. The copper string power line that the Queensland Government have also taken ownership of runs through the project area, and we've got a rail line that links Townsville and Mount Isa running through the project as well. This is the project. There's 3 different colours here, and the tenements in the east were the block we started with, and through the course of 2023 we've acquired 2 other projects that conglomerate to form the Ravenswood Consolidated project. We've got a 4.94 million tonne zinc, 12% zinc equivalent resource. Now zinc, that's a recoverable zinc equivalent. It's comprised of 7% zinc, 1.1 grams gold and 0.8 copper. And we're going to really dive today into how we're going to tackle boosting the copper and gold portfolio in this project. We've got a small array of 15 kilometre long strike length of porphyry copper moly targets, the most significant of which is Titov. We've completed a significant amount of drilling there and generated a pre-resource, an exploration target of about 5 to 8 million tonnes in the top 100 metres, grading around that 0.3% copper and 0.1% moly. It's a system, a series of systems that we believe has potential to be a massive value driver in its own right, but the core focus is on these VMS systems and importantly these breccia gold systems as well. So systems like Mount Lation, 3.5 million ounces, and Mount Wright was another 1 million ounce breccia pipe system. We've got a small emerging resource at Plateau, 50,000 ounces. We've just completed some drilling on a previously untested part of that lease, that target. The resource table, numbers that you can go through in your own time, but it does show that we've got a significant amount of gold in particular in the VMS system. So there's 80,000 ounces of contained gold, 5.5 million ounces of silver, and 42,000 contained metal tonnes of copper metal. It's a significant resource in its own right. Triumph was the project in central Queensland. It's 118,000 ounces at about 2 grams of near surface gold. Liontown's the big core focus of the resource base, and Liontown is comprised of 2 separate resource blocks. Now, Liontown itself was, it's about 2.3 million tonnes, and then the previous owners completed a large IP survey, geophysical survey, and their first test case was to go and drill a hole which targeted Liontown East. Lo and behold, that's turned into 1.5 million tonnes in its own right. And the gap between the two is a gap purely based on drill density. We know we've got hits in that gap zone grading 1.75 at 50% zinc equivalent and the like, and we think that's a pretty solid area for resource growth. It's not too hard to imagine putting another Liontown East in there. When we bought the project, it came with about 6,000 metres of diamond core that wasn't logged. There's 96 holes been completed since the last published resource in March 2020, and we've got a resource update coming out in December this year that we expect to be largely infill, so it'll convert a lot of that material from inferred to indicated resource and allow the development of scoping studies and the like off the back of that. Now I'm going to try and touch very quickly on a geological concept that we've been testing with some shallow RC and the diamond hole that we're drilling to date. And it's a genetic model for these VMS systems. So they typically form on a sea floor. They're little volcanic vents, much like the black smoke as you'd see out in the Pacific today. We can identify several key zones, and the core of these systems, the feeders and stockworks, are typically gold and copper rich. We move into a near seafloor footwall zone that is still gold and copper, but more seafloor parallel. And then we move into the seafloor interface, and those sort of ores the cooler temperatures start to precipitate out the lead and zinc a lot quicker, and we get a lot more of that metal. Now we're looking straight down, so north is up as we always expect on the map on the right. And given the nature of the stratigraphy is very steep in this place, if we actually spin it around, so now south is up, we can actually start to annotate those lodes and see that metal distribution and start to put ourselves in space. Now no one's ever targeted the feeder zones successfully at Liontown, and we think we've been a bit clever with this and made inroads into this. What we've done here is we've identified that there were zones in the system that were gold-only zones in a system. So this is a system that, if we remember, had 7% zinc and 0.8% copper and a whole lot of lead as well. We've got holes that are running 8.1 metres at 10.7 grams gold, 8 metres at 11.7, and numbers similar. And we plotted that up on a ternary plot, so we plotted this relative to gold, copper and zinc, and we just wanted to have a look at where those really gold-rich parts of the system are. And lo and behold, they lined up in 3 zones. One of those zones coincides with the 8.1 at 10.7. The zone on your left on this image coincides with the old historic gold mine shaft at Carrington. And there's another zone in that poorly drilled gap zone between the 2 lodes. So we think we're doing the test work on that main feeder zone at the moment. We've just completed a bunch of RC, shallow RC holes. We've got a shallow RC pre-collar with a very shallow diamond tail. And the idea behind this is it's low cost, high impact drilling, and we think we can make a real difference. We won't delve into coronation too much other than it's a VMS system different to the last. They were massive sulphide pipes at highway reward, 4 million tonnes at 5% copper, gram per tonne gold. We've just completed a small drilling campaign, and importantly we hit 8 metres at 1.3 grams in one of the holes, which is a fantastic pathfinder. There was a gold in barite veining system across the top of the VMS at highway. We think we're on the right track and there's plenty more work to do there. We've got a busy finish to the year. Finish off the drilling that's going on at Liontown at the moment. Resource update to come out. A geophysical review based on that coronation, encouraging early results from coronation, and then we'll get stuck into it again next year when we've made the most of these targets. Queensland projects, Queensland big system targets. Come and see us at the booth. We're just outside the back door. Thanks for your time.